Hey guys, today I wanted to talk a little bit about money. It is a new year and a new decade, and this video probably should have been up a couple of weeks ago, but that's life. So I am going to go through my budget for 2020 today, and I am going to bring you guys along. So I have done a budget video in the past, which was not as fancy as this one. That was I think I just wrote it out by hand, but this time I'm doing it fancy. I got Google Sheets, I got some formulas, we're all up in there today. Because I have been very into economics lately, which is weird. So I've never really been into it. My mom works with economics, so maybe it is a little bit from there. But I think this is going to be interesting. So I have my laptop here, and I'm just going to input all the things. I'm going to let you guys in on my personal finances and put in a clip of the screen up in the corner. Maybe I should not be in the middle of the screen. So I have my laptop here, and I put in all of my payments, or like salaries as it is, and they are changing because they are a live formula from Google, and I can leave the formulas that I've used down below. So if you just start out by on my income, I have like one full-time job, and then I have two jobs or type things that I also make a little bit of money from. So the first one is my full-time job at IKEA, where I make about 23,900 Norwegian kroner after taxes. And after I am part of the union, my membership fee is automatically deducted from my pay, so that is also not in here, but I think it's about 600 kroner. Let's put that into our expenses as well, actually. If you have seen my last budget, this part is probably going to be the same thing. My boyfriend and I, we live together, we own an apartment together, and we have partly shared finances. So we have one shared account that each month we put in 8,500 Norwegian kroner to, which is about $950. And that covers our mortgage, our electricity, groceries, phone, and apartment costs, which is because we live in a condo apartment, building. Is about 8,300. Our phone is about 400 altogether. Electricity is it's a little bit different. In the summer it's nearly nothing, in the winter it's a little bit higher. Our apartment cost also includes heating, because we have water heating under the floors, which is included in our apartment costs. So there's no heating and the electricity bill, but probably around 500. And then the actual mortgage is 8,900-ish. And then what is left is our groceries, because whatever is left is what we have for groceries, and it does vary a little bit each month. If we use more on electricity and stuff like that, the groceries will be a little bit lower. In this scenario right here, also keep in mind that this is for both of us, so we each put in 8,500, and then the mortgage and stuff is the entire cost. In this scenario, it's about 3,400 for groceries, which is pretty low. Sometimes we go over that. I'm usually the one who goes grocery shopping, so if there's no money on the card, I'm usually the one who pays for that. And then in addition to that, I have my own mortgage, because when you need 15% security when you take up a home mortgage in Norway, and I didn't have quite those 15%, so my mother lent me some, which is what I'm now paying down, which is going through the bank. So her home is security for the other mortgage that I have, and I have been adjusting that up and up and up since I had it when we bought this place. And it started out at about 800 Norwegian kroner, and today I'm paying 5,500 because I want it to be gone by the end of 2020. So that is one of my financial goals. And then we have some subscription fees, and you can see that there are quite a lot of them. So I have a gym membership, which is about 450 a month. Netflix, I think, is like 120. HBO is like 100, I think. Adobe Photoshop, I think it's like 117. And Premiere is like 220-ish, I believe. And then we have gas, which I usually use about 2,500 Norwegian kroner for gas each month because I do drive to work and I have half an hour each way, which is about 60 kilometers every day. My travel insurance, I think it's about 200 kroner, and I like to put in 2,000 for savings. My camera died, so the economics doesn't really add up because I put in our shared expenses. So I'm just gonna adjust that, and then all of these are included in there, so I'm just gonna put 0 on those. And then, so those are all the things that those are contributing to, and it is a really convenient way to do it for us personally because we just put that into a separate account, and then we have that money, and that is what it's going towards, and there's just no anything about that. So after all of my expenses have been paid out, I have about 5,600 Norwegian kroner left. Sometimes I save a little bit more than 2,000, sometimes I save a little bit less. Sometimes I go on vacations and stuff, so obviously this is going to vary a little bit every month. Like in March, we're going to the Caribbean for a cruise, and obviously I will spend more than 5,500 there. But these are the things that I pay every month, and they're fairly consistent. This is just looking really fancy right now. I'm kind of impressed. I spent like half an hour putting together this spreadsheet before I started filming. I just realized that I forgot to tell you something. So in addition to the 2,000 that I save as it is, I also have 3 other types of saving things linked up to my personal account. So I have a 2 micro save type things. So I have, every time I buy something, I put the card automatically pays 10 kroner, which is like, I don't know, almost like $1-ish, into my savings account. Every time I buy something, it gets automatically rounded up to the closest 10, and the like little piece that like the roundup is put into my savings account. And then every month on the 17th, if there's more than 500 in my account, everything over 500 is put into my savings account. It's like the small things that you don't think about, but it does add up. So I'm going to look into my savings account because I have a tendency of swiping my card a lot, and it is so convenient. Like, it is so convenient. So I used to have it into my travel account. Well, I still do. I have one into my travel account and one into my savings account. Already into January. Today is the 21st. This video is going up tomorrow on the 22nd. I get paid on the 20th, which is why I did this now. But already in January, I have put 470 Norwegian kroner into my travel account, which is over 50, which is like $52.50. Just from that micro save with $10 going into my account every single time I swipe my card. And obviously, if I'm going shopping, I have more, and if I'm not that month, I have less. So I have been pretty obsessed with economics lately, like I said, and part of that is I started to well, I've always been like into paying down our mortgage and stuff as quickly as possible. When I have that extra mortgage on top, it is called a top loan in Norway. VidCon London is spamming me down with everything, and I just want to go so bad. But I don't have vacation for that this year because I'm going to the Caribbean. But anyway, with the finances and stuff, I've been really interested in that for a while now. And it started, I think, when I started listening to a podcast, which is called She Makes Money Moves. I think it's from Glamour. And I just think it's really fascinating. People like come on, they tell their story, what financial struggles they have. And I just thought it was really interesting to hear people talk about their financial situation and their financial struggles. And then I started listening to Pengesnakk, which is a Norwegian podcast about money, which literally means money talks or money talk. And I think it's really interesting. I've been watching Luksusfellen, which is a Norwegian and Swedish TV show where people get into like deep death, and then death. Oh, I hate that word. Debt. Okay. And then they need help getting out of it. And I just think it is so interesting to see what types of things that they are suggesting and what types of things they want to make people do as like a set routine. And like I mentioned, my mom is working with like pays and finances and economics, whatever, for bigger companies. So I've always had like pushed into my head that you need to save, you need to blah 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 blah. This is what credit cards do, and don't use them more than you have to. I have a credit card. Actually, I have two. I have one from my regular bank, which I got when I think I got it when I was like 19 because I was going abroad to travel, and my mom suggested that I had a credit card because if something happens and it's skimmed or anything like that, it's easier to replace it when it's a credit card as opposed to my personal debit card. So I got that one. And then after that, I picked up a Norwegian bank credit card. Norwegian is an airline, and they have their personal like bank in addition to that. And every time you use your credit card, you get 1% cash points, which you can use to buy your plane tickets. And obviously I never use my credit card if I can't pay it off that same month. So I always set off money when I get paid for the credit card bill, which is due the 15th of the next month. And sometimes I use my credit card, sometimes I don't, which is why I haven't put it into my budget because it varies. But it is never over 5,593, which is what I have left over after all of my expenses. We don't have credit score in the same way here as you do in the United States. Honestly, credit score is a thing that just confuses the crap out of me. So I haven't really looked into how that works in other countries. It's not really a thing here. It's like as long as you don't have any like bad stuff on your record, you're good to go. You don't have to earn a credit like where you start at scratch and work your way up, as I've understood you do in the US. Here you kind of start from the top and then you fall if you do something bad, which is a good way to do it. It's like you're good unless otherwise proven. I also want to do a no shop month, like apart from like necessities, just not shop anything. So I might try to do that in February. If you want to see that challenge too, let me know. And then I picked up a book. Actually, I wanted to pick up 3, but I didn't. This is Snaponomi, which is a Norwegian book. Also, it is a Norwegian writer. She is one of the people who are with Luksusfellen, which is basically like the luxury trap, where in English. And it's such an interesting show. I love stuff like that. And I just picked this up. I haven't actually read it yet, and I just realized that it matches my blazer. So it just has a lot of pages about economics and what you can do and how you can save. And although I don't have like the biggest expenses in the world, I would like to set a new financial goal for next year after my mortgage is paid down. I want to save 100,000 in 1 year, which is a lot. So I am just going to put that in here. 100,000 Norwegian is about $11,161. And it is probably like after taxes, it's like a third of what I make. So I would have to put in 8,333 kroner every month into a savings account. And I think that would be really fun, and obviously it's still a year away unless I get to pay off my mortgage first, because it's not like I have to start the challenge in January. But I just want to, I have a buffer account and all of that stuff. I have like backup that I can use if I suddenly end up unemployed, or if I don't know, our car breaks and we have to buy a new one, or like anything like that. I have like backup that I can use, which is a nice security. But I would like to save more, because I recently started looking at the idea of investing in apartments and renting them out, like buying an apartment and renting it out without living there. And to do that, you have to have security of 15,000, and for most apartments, depending on where you want to buy, you need at least $300,000-$400,000, which like from $30,000 to $45,000. And if I want to do that, I need to save up that security, which I really want to do. And if I'm able to save like $100,000 a year, and that goes pretty easily, I'll have that money in like 4 years max, which would mean that possibly I could purchase my second apartment for rent before I turn 30. I like talking about stuff like this. For a lot of people, I know finances are a little bit taboo and hard to talk about, but if you talk about it, it gets less taboo. And it's not like everyone gets some sort of income, and everyone has some sort of expenses, whether it's rent or your phone or a car. The reason car and car insurance isn't on here is because it's not a monthly expense. We pay it twice a year. So, yeah, I didn't add it on here. Also, the cars are owned by Marius, my boyfriend. So I don't have a car in my name, but I do pay gas for the car that I use, and I pay the insurance for the car that I use. So maybe at some point I will buy my own car if he wants to sell one of his, but we'll see. It doesn't seem very likely. This is such a rambly video now. This was supposed to be very straight and on the point budget video, and then I just started talking and then I didn't stop. So I'm going to stop now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you want more videos about economics, if you want me to do a video with the saving 100K, anything like that, let me know. I would love to do that video if you want to see it. And obviously that is, again, a year away, but it's not too soon to plan. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give this video a big like, leave any comments down below, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!